All right, guys. Well, happy Thursday. I'm coming to you from my kitchen today for today's lesson. But just a quick announcement that I need to make for all of you to be aware of. Moving forward, starting today, we are actually going to be having all our assignments listed on ASU, and you'll be submitting them on ASU as well, unless otherwise specified. So this is just to increase our participation on the website. It's something that ASU themselves have asked us to do. So we're just going to, from here on out for this health class, you guys just check ASU for all your assignments. It'll be really nice because it'll pop up on the right there on your to-do list. Might make it a little easier for you guys to keep track of things. In addition to having them listed in RenWeb, I know it's a little more user-friendly. A lot of people tend to like it. So all my messages will be in ASU, but I am still, for the next week, I will still continue to send traditional emails out to you guys. It'll just be a little reminder saying, hey guys, go check out ASU for the assignment today. And we'll just leave it at that until everybody's on the same page and I see that everybody is doing the submissions and work online. And then from there on, don't worry about checking your emails. Just know to check ASU every day for what your assignment is. And then you'll be submitting things on there as well. So yeah. Now, yesterday we talked about the food pyramid. What was the food pyramid? Which is basically a breakdown of the different food groups and how many servings is suggested that you have or consume of each of those. I also sent you a link that you guys should have clicked on to review what those serving sizes look like. So I think some of the examples I gave, if you were to have a sandwich, obviously you're consuming 2 servings there because you'd be using 2 pieces of bread, and 1 slice of bread is considered 1 serving. When it comes to meat, I think for chicken, it should be about 3 ounces equal to 1 portion of meat. But again, there's what we might normally consider 1 portion, isn't necessarily so when it comes to things like fruit. Okay, how many grapes would you have to equal 1 serving of fruit? Obviously 1 grape is not going to be enough. And if you were to eat 15 grapes, that's not 15 servings of fruit. So that was the point of you guys reviewing that, getting an understanding of what that particular item that you might be eating and what it counts for as far as size. So today we are actually moving on and we're discussing food labels. So give me a second, I'm going to turn my camera around. Okay guys, so talking about food labels, what I want you to learn today is what a food label is, where do I find one, and how do I interpret the information that's on there. So I have a variety of food labels that I'm going to show you today, and I'm going to give you a breakdown on some of the information and how some of it might look a little different. So how do you interpret that? So first, what is a food label? Well, a food label is a breakdown in the nutrition facts of a particular product. It's required by law from our government for all manufacturers to list things like calorie content, vitamins and minerals, the breakdown of fat, carbs, protein, and then also the list of ingredients, which you'll find at the very bottom. Interesting fact about that, ingredients are listed in order of most to least. So here, obviously, we have rice as the most used ingredient on here. It's pretty plain and simple. If we go over to this package of bread, we see that water was the most used ingredient on this. Second most used ingredient would be whole wheat flour. And then moving on into, let's see, oat fiber would have been the next one. The parentheses was the breakdown of what that flour is composed of. But yeah, so if you didn't know that already, ingredients are not listed alphabetically, obviously, because we have water starting with W here, but it's listed in order of what's the most used ingredient all the way down to the least. So the last thing here we have is absorbic acid, which is vitamin C, and that's been added in, so that's the least used ingredient. So yeah, a little thing about that. Okay, so we know what a food label is. Now, where do we find it? So traditionally, most food labels are found on the back of most packaging. So we got my bread here, flip it over, food label. We got my package here, flip it over on the back. Got my mug, cakes, okay, right on the back. Now, on occasion, on most boxes, I think you're going to find it probably on the side, because if we were to flip this over on the back, oh, not there. It's actually on the side, okay? So that's where we find them. It's always usually going to be on the back or the side, never on the front, okay? So now, how do we interpret some of the information that's on here, okay? So if we start from the very top, this says that this is about 26 servings per container, okay? Now, what is a serving? Well, the serving lets us know it's half a cup. So if you were to have half a cup, everything pertaining to that half a cup is listed here, okay? So if you were to have more than half a cup, that's where a little math is going to come in, and you're going to have to do some times. But it's pretty easy to figure out. So if you were to consume all 26 servings, maybe you're really hungry one day, you made this whole box of rice, okay? You would have to times everything by 26. Obviously, most of you or all of you will never do that, so not a concern. But most of us usually tend to eat more than half a cup. I'd say probably more like 1 cup. So if you consumed 1 cup of rice, you would actually have to times all these by 2, okay? So it's no longer 170 calories, that'd be 340 calories. You'd have to apply that number to all these as well. So you're not, consuming, it's not less than 1 gram of dietary fiber. It's actually more closer to 3 now. So yeah, looking over here onto my bag of rice, my bread. Notice that this tells us that there's 15 servings in here. So this lets me know that I should have, in the serving size is 1 slice of bread, okay? 1 slice of bread is 120 calories. Sorry, brain fart there for a second. But no, you should have, so based on the serving sizes that it's telling us 15, that means you should have at least 15 slices of bread in here. Now, if the serving size was 2 slices of bread and it said there was 15 servings, how many slices of bread would we have in here? Well, that would actually be 30, okay? Because the serving size would be 2, and if you had 15 of those serving sizes, it would actually be 30 slices of bread. But on this one, the serving size is just 1 slice, okay? And we know that it's 120 calories. There's 1.5 grams of fat. This tells us no saturated fat, no trans fat. And I want to pause here for a second and just focus on this, because this is something that might be on the quiz. In the documentary Fed Up, you guys, they talked about how manufacturers can technically get away with listing 0 as the number if there's not that 1 full gram. So this could technically have half a gram of saturated fat in it, but because it's not that 1 full gram, they technically don't have to list it. Now, you may think, what's the big deal? It's not that full gram. Well, the thing is, you guys, if you were to consume this whole bag of bread throughout the week, say you make sandwiches for lunch every day, okay? If we were to sit there and look at that half a gram, okay, and we times it by 15, is that 0? No. 15 times half a gram is 7.5 grams of saturated fat. So if you're following a strict diet where you're not allowed to have saturated fat, which people with things like high blood pressure or heart problems, where that's something they have to pay very close attention to, this could impact your health, okay? So just know that even though it says that 0 grams, it could still technically have, it's just not that full gram, and that's why it's not being listed. So just a little interesting tangent there that I want you guys to know, be aware of, and be able to know possibly in the future for the quiz, okay? But we see the breakdown of cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, protein. It's the breakdown of vitamins and minerals here. And so we notice that there's the column on the left and the column on the right, okay? And we have the percentage of daily value, and there's a little asterisk there to that. Well, whenever there's a little asterisk there, you guys, a little star, that means that they're going to explain that in further detail. So all we have to go down here is find where that star is, and it's like, okay, here's the explanation. So that percentage of daily value, it's telling you how much a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to your daily diet, and they're basing this off a 2,000 calorie a day diet. Now, as many of you saw in your My Plate, the ASU assignment 4.2, talking about your food nutrition plan, based on the calories that you're consuming, it's also going to affect the amount of fat and carbs that you want to consume in a day. So to achieve that 2,000 calorie diet, that's what these numbers are based on. If you were doing a 1,500 calorie diet, less or more, these percentages will not apply, and you'd have to do those calculations yourself, or you could go in on the My Plan and see exactly what percentages those would be for you. So just something to keep in mind. But overall, guys, I hope you have a better understanding of what food labels are and how to read them. I did want to point out a variation that might be a little confusing, but it's actually pretty easy. So we noticed we had a food label here, and there's two different columns. Because it's like, well, okay, we're only cooking the rice here, so why do I have two different numbers? Well, that's because this product requires for you to add ingredients in. And this one, it's asking you to add in milk and butter. So obviously, adding milk and butter, two new ingredients, they're going to have calories, they're going to have fat, and so it's going to change the numbers in this when it's fully prepared. So as a courtesy to the consumer, and just because some people might not even, think about it, they've said, okay, so the packaging as it is, and it says per half a cup of mix, this is all the nutritional information. But once you add those ingredients that are a part of making this a prepared meal, this is what that's going to change to. So it's not going to be 230 calories for half a cup of the mix. It's going to be now 290 calories because we've added that butter and milk. It's changed things like calcium obviously has gone up because now we've added that milk and butter, which gives us that increase in number. So in situations like this, okay, pretty simple. It's just letting you know, hey, once you add those ingredients in, things like mac and cheese, you'll see that as well. That's what it means for the prepared portion. So nothing really changed a whole lot on this because it's very minimal ingredients you're adding, but just wanted to make sure you guys understood that's the point of these two columns here. Okay, so overall, I hope you guys have a better understanding of everything. You could read a food label. Remember that just because something says it's 0 grams, it could still have that half a gram. Know that these percentage of daily values may not pertain to your particular diet based on the amount of calories you're trying to consume. Some of you who might follow your macros, okay, you might pay attention more to maybe the carbohydrates, the fat and protein, as opposed to the calories. But yeah, so that was today's lesson. Hope you guys learned. If you already knew it, you're ahead of the curve. Talk to you later.